What enabled you to kind of get back on track after those first few innings, would you say?
I just, never really thought, in my head it was like I'm one, good breaking ball away from feeling it again. And that was kind of I was really, really struggling with for 1 through 4, where I just could not execute a breaking ball to save my life. And, I think the cutter and sinker obviously were good enough to get us through there. And then, once I executed a curveball to Horwitz, it was kind of like, oh, there it is, and was able to kind of ride that feel. Still stayed away from the slider just because it wasn't there, but the curveball was. So then we leaned on that through the later innings for our off-speed mix, and then I think Bill did a phenomenal job of kind of like reading where everything was at, not pitching me into bad counts because we're trying to do things that aren't working, just sticking with the cutter and picking our sinker spots, and then also, as the curveball started to get more and more feel, keep calling that one. And then I was able to just kind of trust him and what his eyes were seeing about how the pitch was finishing, and I could just focus on getting it to the spot.
Quinn, what can you say about the way the guys have picked you up? Like, you obviously pitched well tonight, but again, a comeback. They've done that a lot of times during this run that you've had.
We just have a great team. Everybody finds a way to help out. Tonight was JB and Bryce. He's been as hot as anybody in baseball, and Bill doing everything. I just think it's been working out, that it lines up with me on the mound. I know my mentality is certainly, when we do, lose the game, I definitely want to be out there to shut that down, immediately, get us back on the right track, and essentially just get us back in the dugout. Get us back at the plate. We're going to get hits. We just need the ABs. And, in my eyes, I'm not even sure this is true, but just the longer guys are out there, the more, that becomes challenging to get momentum and get into a rhythm. And so definitely didn't do a good job of that the first 4 innings. But then when I was able to string together 1, 2, 3s and, felt like I was able to just get the guys back in the dugout, and then we started to score a little bit.
When to get the team win, obviously, is the most important thing, but to get in the record books, I don't know if Mike told you, but that was your 11th straight winning decision. Does that mean anything to you? That's a kind of a cool thing, isn't it?
It definitely does. I think, certainly more important is kind of marching towards, I want to win 100 games. It's not a secret. That's where I think, we can totally achieve that. We're within striking distance. But having, that streak, it was kind of following around because there was a couple no decisions. And so now just, very proud of that because it means, I've been doing things well, or at least well enough. But I'm kind of glad that that's kind of done, and now we move on, and I think everybody's goal here should be to win 100 games this year, and then just keep playing good and as long as we can.
What's changed in the 13 months since you've been here as a pitcher?
A lot of confidence, and then there's no doubt that everybody in this clubhouse believes in me, and that's a very powerful thing, especially when the guys behind me, you can feel it when in the mound visits, and just the trust that Bill kind of shows in what I want to do, what he wants to do, and then that feeds a lot of confidence. That they believe me for a reason, and that confidence then to execute pitches and not necessarily strike everybody out, but just get the ball on the ground. It simplified the game for me a lot, and then through that simplification, I just feel like I've been able to learn a lot better.
Thanks, Quinn.
Yeah, thank you.